I ended up becoming heir to the throne aged 4.
With never-before-seen footage, the king's life in his own words.
It is important to be honest and genuine, and people will always see through you if you're not.
Charles R., The Making of a Monarch. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Last stretch.
Let's get there.
I can't breathe.
That's my girl. Let's go.
Take it up. Don't want this to end.
We will get over that line.
Race Across the World, the finale, Wednesday at 9 on BBC One and iPlayer.
Live through the night now on BBC One. Let's join Laura Kuenssburg and the BBC team for results and analysis from across the country in today's local elections.
Good evening. The polls are closed and our politicians might just be getting nervous, waiting for the verdict of millions of you who've been voting today in this year's council elections. Power is up for grabs and reputations are on the line. Rishi Sunak became Prime Minister in the autumn after the turmoil that brought down Boris Johnson and saw off Liz Truss. But in a year, Mr Sunak might be fighting his own general election. So what will the public say about him and his party tonight? Sir Keir Starmer spent this morning bashing the phones, reminding people to vote. He has been miles ahead in the opinion polls, but now real ballots have been cast. Can he rely on the same support? How close is Labour really to number 10? The Lib Dems want to get the big wheels turning. Their leader, Sir Ed Davey, used a tractor on the campaign trail to smash through a metaphorical wall of Tory support. But in the next few hours, we will know if he's actually been able to turn blue seats yellow. These elections will decide who runs more than 230 English councils, but they'll also give us the biggest picture of public opinion since Rishi Sunak took over, and possibly the last before the general election. Rita Chakrabarty's here to help us crunch the numbers. Rita.
I'll be analysing the results as they come in. These are the seats that each party is defending. We'll see how those numbers change overnight.
Professor Sir John Curtis will, of course, steer us through the tips and trends as the night goes on. And our political editor, Chris Mason, will help us figure out what it might all mean for those vying for power. Some of them will be with us live. Politicians join us here and from around the country. So stick with us. It is election night on the BBC, and some of those all-important results have already started to come in. A very warm welcome to you for election 2023. Tens of millions of you have had the chance to have your say in England today after a wild political year. It's the first time that the ballot boxes have been out since the exit of Boris Johnson, the implosion of Liz Truss and the arrival in number 10 of Rishi Sunak, not so long after he became an MP in 2015. These elections are a reflection on his short time in office so far, but of course, local elections do what they say on the tin as well. They decide who runs the authorities that have big responsibilities for things that are important in our lives. Schools, care, of course, the bins. So the results are a judgment on what's going right or wrong locally, as well as what's happened in Westminster. And we have, even at this start of the programme, had some results already. We've got 6 seats in. Guess where? From Sunderland. Of course, the part of the country where the counters are always the fastest first. I think we've actually just had the 7th result come in, but we can see there in our giant tower, Labour have got 6 seats, taking 2, the Lib Dems 1. And an interesting thing there, 2 of those seats in Labour wards have been taken from UKIP, who did very well the last time. We're going to be out and about around the country throughout the night. Look, the counters there hard at work in Leicestershire. I think we can show you some pictures also of Stoke, which is the kind of part of the country where politicians have been falling all over themselves to press the flesh with voters, and Medway in the southeast, counting underway there too. So we'll be checking in with our teams on the ground. I think we've got BBC representatives at about 50 counts, so we'll hear from right across England. Let's start tonight, though. Chris, tell us for each of the main leaders then. Let's start with the Prime Minister. His first big test. What's on the line for Rishi Sunak?
A lot's on the line because it's the kind of first verdict for him of the election, as it is for any political leader, isn't it, on a night like this? Because for all of the focus that there is at Westminster, inevitably on opinion polls, they can be dismissed by a political leader saying, well, you know, it's just an opinion poll. These are real votes in real ballot boxes, electing real politicians who'll be running vital public services. And that matters, obviously, at